Happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in to our Friday night edition of FSU Weather. For some reason, this camera is not on, but we have a beautiful look at Doak Campbell Stadium right now. Unfortunately, though, oh, hi, guys. Unfortunately, though, we do see some of these raindrops on the camera right now. Obviously, it is cloudy outside. It is 67, and winds are a little breezy south-southeast at 15 miles per hour. And for the rest of the area, sitting pretty consistent in the mid to upper 60s, 67 in Monticello's and 66 in Quincy right now. And we're keeping it pretty cool because we're seeing all this rain move through the area, and that is going to persist as we head into the rest of the night tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So make sure that you are tuning into your local news and weather so that you can be prepared on when the worst of the rain will be here. So for tonight's headlines, we will talk about that rain that is moving through and some more sunshine that is going to come back to Tallahassee, severe weather preparedness, and the weather history of our last month. All that and more tonight on FSU Weather.
That's right. Welcome to FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Aaron Saray.
And I'm student meteorologist Elizabeth Temple.
And today we have a great show here planned for you on this rather dreary Friday here, Elizabeth.
Yeah, it's been really ugly outside all day, especially earlier this afternoon when we saw that rain started to come in. So definitely a very nice day to be inside. That's
right. All the cloudiness, kind of the cooler weather we've seen at least over the past day or so with that warmer air coming in. But eventually we'll have a cool down here pretty soon, though. So.
Yes. Thankfully, that will be so, and it may be the last time that we see that as we head into the rest of spring, and summer is approaching very quickly, so I'm very excited about it beginning to warm up. I don't know about you.
I'm kind of on the latter of that. Yeah. I'm not as excited for the warm up, at least for the really hot, humid weather. But but for like a little bit of a warmness in the air, not too bad. But a little chill is not bad either.
Yeah, of course. Do you have anything exciting going on after the rain leaves?
After the rain leaves, I'll probably go outside and go hiking for a little bit. I always enjoy going on walks and hikes. They're always the best here in Tallahassee, especially for this time of year. But we'll kind of show things here across the local area here. So Tallahassee here, 67 degrees under cloudy conditions. Same thing with Thomasville, Georgia as well. And up towards St. Mark's, Florida as well, 67. And then St. George, 68 degrees, all under cloudy skies. We have that disturbance here over the Gulf of Mexico. That's bringing us some of this rather dreary weather to end the work week here. But do not afraid. We do have some light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, as we have clearer conditions coming up soon. But for right now, the current conditions across the area, we have 67 degrees here across Tallahassee, 64 in Thomasville. A little bit warmer as we make your way down to the coast here with the marine layer at 69 degrees here in Apalachicola. Now for local radar, we are sitting rather wet, especially if you are just off to the east of town here. So if you're near Dowling Park over towards I-75 and up to Valdosta, you might have some rain on your commute over there on the interstate. But if you look over towards the west, we're actually staying pretty clear for the most part. We might see some rain coming in from time to time over the next several hours, especially into tomorrow morning as well. But eventually by tomorrow afternoon, this should all clear out and it should not be as much of a big deal for our area. So this all clears out. We might potentially have some showers and storms here tomorrow, and then by tomorrow evening perhaps by sunset, might actually clear out and actually have a nice sunset here across the region. Again, might even be windy as well tomorrow night as well as we get that northerly wind out, bringing that more drier, cooler air over the next several days or so, especially as you get your Sunday into early next week. So make sure you watch out for that. In terms of rainfall here, we expect around about about an inch or so, projected, I should say. This was projected as well for today, but unfortunately, we actually got more rain than expected here across Tallahassee, with particularly some of these more robust cells going over the airport here. But overall, at least over the next several hours or so into about Sunday night here, about 48 hours or so, we should expect about ½ an inch or so of rain across the metro area. Now, if you're heading out towards College Town tonight, actually you might need to keep your windbreaker on, as we do have some of those showers continuing on across much of town here. So temperatures sitting down into the mid to low 60s by the time we get into your overnight hours. Again, might need to keep that umbrella, that windbreaker with you, as we do have the chance for some showers across much of that time frame. Now, if you're hiking on Saturday, I'll be looking at this forecast tomorrow perhaps as well, but we're looking at temperatures kind of around 60 into the 70s, and then the sunshine does come back by the time we get into that 6 p.m. hour, so make way for perhaps a nice evening hike. But if you are taking Storm out perhaps for a walk here, what is it, courtesy of Toby Pruitt here, I assume it's one of Chandler's relatives, we should expect those temperatures for the most part going up into the 70s by the time we get into our more later in the day here. And as for your week ahead, we should expect those showers and thunderstorms eventually clear out as we get towards your Sunday, with breezy conditions coming in on Sunday, and then eventually a warm-up as we get into the week here early next week. So it should look really fun. But how's it look across the state, Josh?
It's actually looking very similar to Tallahassee, where it's mostly just dreary and gloomy. Although Pensacola is that clear outlier, as it's looking very nice outside, a little bit cloudy, but nonetheless looking very nice whatsoever. We are hanging around the upper 60s in the northern part of our state to the upper 70s in the southern part of our state. So we're still seeing showers in Jacksonville. Tallahassee, it's getting lighter. Tampa's still having those showers as well, although Key West is just also feeling the wind. Now, as you see, we actually have some showers working in, mainly because of a cold front that's going to be coming in to the state going into tomorrow, and that's going to bring lower temperatures and a lot of heavy rain, especially for the southern counties, mainly Monroe and Miami-Dade County. That's where you're going to get the most rain. So as we see, these lows are going to work its way in, bring quite a bit of rain to the Keys and to southern Florida. And as this low works its way off the coast by tomorrow, then it'll work its way up the Atlantic seaboard. And by the Sunday, we won't have to worry so much about any rain whatsoever, and we can enjoy some slightly lower temperatures, but nonetheless looking very nice and gorgeous. However, I will say Miami going into, I would say not Plantation, but Miami, Kendall, you're going to get the heaviest rain overall. Although Tallahassee is going to have a decent amount of rain, but nonetheless, you will need to make sure you take it slow on the roads, as they will be very slick. Going into Saturday, it's going to cool down just a bit, but those showers are still going to be prevalent. And going into Saturday afternoon, the showers will clear out for the northern part of our region, but the southern parts of our region will have some rain as well. Gainesville and Jacksonville will still have that rain, but Tallahassee and Pensacola will be looking absolutely nice and gorgeous. Sunday morning is going to get even cooler than normal, but by the time we get to Sunday afternoon, it will be feeling absolutely wonderful. Just to make up for that time that you lost on Saturday, you'll definitely want to go outside. So Miami, the rain is just going to be the worst part of our day tomorrow, but Sunday it will just clear out absolutely nicely. So just make sure to take it nice and slow on 95 and the Turnpike. If you're going to Jacksonville, same thing, rain is going to be very strong, but we'll also see that cold front bring in lower temperatures on Sunday before we warm back up by Monday. Tampa, same thing, but not as strong as Jacksonville, although we will have that rain. And then Pensacola, we will have to also have some wind coming in on Monday, but it'll be feeling very lovely, as you won't have to worry about that rain that has made its way through. Now, as we see, it's going to be just very soggy across the state this weekend, especially tomorrow, but by Sunday, it'll just be absolutely gorgeous, and I recommend going outside and just taking advantage of the weather. But speaking of soggy conditions, Elizabeth, what's going on with the rain that could be going to the southeast?
Yeah, so unfortunately, Florida isn't the only place that we're seeing some of this rain coming through. We see some raindrops on the Atlanta and the Huntsville cameras right now. It is very nice in New Orleans. They actually saw that rain last night, so it's nice and dry over there at least. As far as the current temperatures go, we're sitting in the mid-60s and some places in the upper 50s right before that front moves through. We do have our hotspot at 77 in New Orleans right now, 60 in Shreveport, and 59 in Little Rock, and we're seeing that rain move through the area in the places that are a little bit more cooler. So we do have this light rain lineup here that is moving north of Jackson and Montgomery, and that is just going to keep spinning and heading up into the northeast for the rest of the weekend. And of course, we have the heaviest of rain heading into South Florida, as Josh had mentioned before. So as far as the future goes, we'll see that rain move offshore. A few possible showers are possible, obviously, as we head into Saturday afternoon just in southern Georgia down here, but that should be the most of it for the rest of the weekend. Just a few more clouds heading into Sunday with that rain, with some more showers beginning to move into the northern part of the region. And the most of the rain, besides in the southern tip of Florida, will be along the North Carolina coast, where they could see upwards of 3 to 5 inches of rain by Sunday evening. So, of course, make sure that you're not driving in on flooded roads. Turn around and don't drown, of course. So for tomorrow morning's temperatures, we're going to be in the 50s for the most part. That rain will have moved offshore, obviously, by that time. And it will be a very pleasant day on Saturday afternoon, where we have 60s as 69 in Montgomery, 71 in New Orleans by 5 o'clock on Saturday, and 69 in Shreveport as well. And then when we head into Sunday morning, it'll be very nice outside there as well. A little bit more chilly, and on Sunday we'll be in the 60s as well. As far as your weekend in Charleston, rain will move through on Saturday, but it'll be nice for the rest of the weekend. And then for the weekend forecast in New Orleans, that rain has already passed, so nothing to be concerned about there. Just Monday does look a little breezy as well, with our highs trending upwards close to 80 on Monday. And so there's a lot of interesting weather happening across the rest of the nation, right, Aaron?
That's right. Some areas have similar weather. Actually, believe it or not, California, especially LA, actually has some wet weather over there. Believe it or not. Not something you see very often here. But here across our nation, we have more warmer weather and more mild weather, especially across much of the south and the east here, as we have that trough that's off towards the west. It's eventually going to dig down, bringing us that cooler weather tomorrow. But overall, right now, across the central plains here and up to the northern plains, we have that more cooler weather here, especially in the Canada. It feels like temperatures near 20 below freezing here. Or not 20 below freezing, but 20 here in Bismarck. And then we also have temperatures on the flip side, warmer here. San Antonio, 84 feels like. And then here we have rain cool at 67 feels like in Tallahassee. And then LA feeling like 62 degrees at the current hour. Now, as we look over across much of the rest of the region here, of course, we were talking about at least some advisories around where we had these weather features here. So we have winter storm warnings here across the high plains, so Bismarck over towards Billings and into Minneapolis here underneath those winter weather or advisories here. And then winter storm warning in effect for much of upper New England. So if you're in New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and over to Maine here, we have winter storm warnings there in effect as well. And we also do have some aerial flood watches to be concerned about here across the coastal Carolinas into Georgia, where we have to watch for some, especially some of these river floodings, as we have this rain feature moving across our state into the mid-Atlantic here, and it could bring perhaps some rain troubles. Now, as we continue looking at the rest of your watches and warnings here, again, we have those drier winter, or we have those wind advisories here across much of western Texas here. But as we kind of look at our national radar here, we have the broad area of low pressure. It's spinning across the southeast here. That's what's bringing us that rain right now across the area. So that larger area of showers and storms there across the west central Florida coast there kind of arcs around towards Louisiana and Mississippi with a broad rain shield kind of looping around almost the entire region, really. And then we also have some snow up to the north, so Detroit, back to Chicago, and into Buffalo, New York. There is some snow here, so we do have to watch out for some of that. And then for our friends out towards the west coast, we do have an incoming system here with bringing some showers from about the northern Cascades up through about Seattle here. So we'll have to watch. Perhaps it could transition some snow too, so we have to watch for some in terms of flooding there, especially down some of the rivers. So we have that swirl that's going to come into the Pacific Northwest near Seattle here. It's going to bring some snow up for the Sierra Nevadas and over into across the Rocky Mountains. This system will eventually come in through here and also begin to kind of cause some trouble here across, at least as we get into later on Sunday into Monday here. And then our system, of course, moves out of the way, bringing more clear weather, as you can see right behind that. Now, for our rainfall forecast here, we expect about half an inch to about an inch or so here across the tri-state area. Our higher amounts are going to be actually towards New England, into the northeast, where we have perhaps up to 3 to 5 inches possible, especially around actually the New York City metro area. So you have to watch out there if you're traveling up there or if you are up there across New York City. That's where we actually have the greatest potential flood watch there, or flood potential there, at least a slight risk according to the Weather Prediction Center. And as for the Storm Prediction Center, we have the area that's going to eventually come off the Rockies here, perhaps bringing a slight risk of severe weather from about Oklahoma over towards much of the Central Plains. Now for future temperatures, we expect the cooler air to begin slowly moving off towards the south and the east here as we go on throughout the rest of your Saturday here. Tomorrow evening looks really pleasant across Tallahassee with the sun coming back out, and of course those cooler temperatures making their way in. Tomorrow night, we can expect perhaps the wind to kick up a little bit with temperatures in the 50s. So I actually feel like in the 40s perhaps by tomorrow morning. And then we kind of repeat the same thing on Sunday, except perhaps with less showers and thunderstorms here. So New York City looking pretty, looks good after the rain here this weekend. LA actually sitting in the 60s with some showers and thunderstorms. So tell us about some of the airport delays, Josh.
That's right. Thank you so much, Jaron. Now, tonight we're just going to mainly feel it in Miami, Orlando. If you're flying into the Florida Peninsula, you're going to feel a lot of those delays. But as we go throughout the weekend, we'll also see it and going into the eastern seaboard, so Charlotte, Atlanta, not to mention both the New York City airspace, Boston, it's going to be affected drastically, so expect delays this weekend if you're flying to the eastern seaboard. Now, as we see tonight in Tallahassee, we might have some delays, but it's not going to be too uncomfortable, as those shouldn't take too much time as that rain is now starting to move out. Going into tonight, I wouldn't worry about that either. It's going to cool down just to like 64, but again, no delays should be expected. Tomorrow we could have some delays just because we could get some isolated showers working its way in, but we will hang around 61 tomorrow. So it'll be relatively comfortable. You shouldn't have to worry about being delayed too much, but it just depends as we might have some rain working its way in. As we see, if you're going to be driving, I would say just factor in some extra time, especially going from 11 a.m. up until 7 p.m. tomorrow. We will still have that rain working its way into our forecast, so you can get some isolated showers. We shouldn't expect anything too super heavy, but it might delay you quite a bit. Now, as you see in Pittsburgh, it's not going to be so much about rain tomorrow, but we will have to worry about lower temperatures, mainly temperatures in the 40s, so that's not really feeling spring for us. That feels more like winter, but make sure to have that jacket. Clemson, tomorrow we could have some rain, but we'll mainly be hanging around the 60s, so not too much to worry about temperature-wise, but rain, make sure to bring that jacket and rain breaker. Now, if you're going to also stay for the second game, it's going to get cooler down to 56, but again, the rain should clear out. Although if you're going to church on Sunday, I would say don't worry about the rain whatsoever. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous by the time you get out. You might need to make sure to have those headlights on if you go early, but by mid-morning, it'll be very nice. If you're going for round 3 against Clemson baseball, no rain in the forecast whatsoever. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then also for Pitt, for softball, it's looking absolutely great on Sunday. So I would say just make sure to bring that jacket. Nothing super heavy, but just a nice, comfortable jacket would really help you. If you're going to any of the games tomorrow, or just make sure to bring a rain jacket, bring an umbrella or a poncho, whatever makes you feel comfortable. But you don't want to get wet because you could also get hypothermia, and trust me, hypothermia is not fun. Just make sure to have that rain jacket. And if you're ever in any rain whatsoever, just make sure to change off any wet clothes because you never want to get hypothermia or even frostbite if you're in any place that's really cold. So we're going to now transition on to severe weather as we are now in March, and we're now starting to get that severe weather across the country.
Yeah, we saw a couple weeks ago over spring break that tornado outbreak that went through the Midwest into portions of Kansas, Indiana, and places like that. So of course it is always important to stay weather aware and prepared for any severe weather that may come.
Yeah. So one thing we'll go over is like what makes a thunderstorm severe, and that is basically having winds of 58 miles per hour or 50 knots, and or hail that is a quarter size or greater, which is basically about an inch in diameter.
Yes, and there are different levels to a severe thunderstorm warning as well. So there is the base, which is the 58 miles per hour. If the winds could get greater than that, up to 70 miles per hour, that is considered a considerable warning. And then there is also the destructive warning, which does have winds of over 80 miles per hour as well as baseball-sized hail.
Yes. And if you ever get caught out in a hailstorm, the best thing to do is just stay where you are. Don't try and move, and just make sure to always keep aware of alerts. And if you ever get caught in a hailstorm, as I said, just make sure to cover your head as always.
Yes, and of course, tornadoes are a big threat when it comes to some severe thunderstorms. So it's important to know the differences between a watch and a warning. A watch of like a tornado or severe thunderstorm means that the conditions are favorable for that, and then if it's a warning, then that means that there is a tornado either on the ground that was seen, or they can see the rotation on the radar. And then there is the tornado emergency, which they find is a severe tornado that could threaten life and property.
Yes, so as always, to make sure you stay safe in tornado, whenever you get a tornado watch, or let alone a tornado warning, always take cover basically in the interiormost part of your house or building. So basically anywhere with no windows and from any exterior walls.
Yes, of course. If you do have a basement, then that is the best place to go as well, especially if you are in the Midwest. And it's important to know if you are storm ready, if your home is not going to be good to take shelter in a storm, find a friend or a neighbor to go stay with. If that is not one option either, then go find a storm shelter to make sure that you and your family and your property is safe. Because of course, life is the most important. But what else we are talking about is we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the climatology and the upcoming climate report for the entire country. So we'll start out with our last 31 days of high temperatures. So we've been above average for almost half of this time, over half, excuse me. So obviously it's been a pretty warm time so far. We do have a few below and at average high temperatures as well. And as far for today, we were of course below average. It was cloudy, it was rainy. Our high only got to 69 today and our low was 60, so not a very large temperature variation as far as that goes. But unfortunately, we aren't at the actual start of spring yet, because in case you haven't noticed all the green on the ground and the green on the car, we are in the pollinating, and the actual spring will be coming up soon. As we see, at least for Tallahassee, we will be seeing some below average temperatures for the next few days, but then we will see warmer than average temperatures as well. And then by next Thursday, we'll see the main, in the Midwest, where we'll see mainly above or near average high temperatures, as well as in the northern part of the country, they could see very large below average temperatures for their high temperatures, excuse me. So this is the Climate Prediction Center 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. So as we see, we do see a stronger chance for below average temperatures on the western part of the country, but mainly for the rest will stay pretty normal. And then when we head a little bit farther out, we'll see more below average temperatures moving towards the eastern side of the country, as well as above average temperatures for the northeast. At least for Tallahassee, we did fortunately get our normal rainfall today because of that rain that we have been seeing, but unfortunately lots of other places across the country haven't been seeing the rain that they need. Fortunately for the southeast, though, much of the region is out of that drought that we have seen since last summer, but places like Arizona and Nevada are seeing lots of drought-like and dry conditions right now. But they are looking for a wetter 6 to 10 days, so hopefully they'll be able to be a little relieved of that drought, as well as heading into the next 8 to 14 days where we'll see some wetter conditions as well. So we're going to take a look at the local forecast one last time with Aaron.
That's right. So we'll kind of wrap things back here closer to home with current temperatures across much of the tri-state area here in the 60s, 67 in Tallahassee, 64 in Thomasville, and 66 up in Donaldsonville, Georgia. at this current hour. Rain is starting to move out of the area here, and we're starting to see a little bit of a break behind the rain here as we go in the next several hours or so, although we do have the chance of seeing some showers and thunderstorms as we make your way throughout the rest of tonight and into tomorrow, especially before noon tomorrow. So again, if you have any plans tomorrow, make sure you do keep that in mind if you are heading out the door. Now, future radar and satellite here does show the rain moving out of the way, and then we also do have some of those clouds and rain here coming through, at least scattered showers and some clouds here moving through, at least through tomorrow evening. So should be nice past sunset tomorrow, but especially I would say keep that in mind if you're going out the door tomorrow, but should make for perhaps a nice sunset. But just as we have the nice sunset tomorrow, we'll have the winds blowing out of the north here, bringing that drier and cooler air behind it across Tallahassee. So again, you might have to watch out, perhaps bring a couple more loose items indoors tomorrow night into your Sunday. Now, rainfall forecast staying around a half an inch to maybe an inch in some higher amounts here, but most of it should stay off towards the east that's where most of the rain is currently right now and should stay off to. But again, tonight, 59 degrees with some rain, perhaps a rumble or thunder or two. Actually pretty good, at least sleep weather for me at least. So I'm sleep really nice tonight. Winds out of the south at 8 miles an hour. And out the door tomorrow here should look pleasant in terms of the temperature category here, in the 60s into the 70s by tomorrow afternoon, until we eventually start to see that cool down trend and some nice clear skies tomorrow afternoon. Or tomorrow evening, I should say. Tomorrow night is when we have the winds starting to come out of the north here at 11 miles an hour. Could see a few higher gusts, partly cloudy overnight winds, or I should say temperatures at 50 degrees here around the metro area, perhaps in the upper 40s. You can make your way into Georgia. And if you're going out to your patio on Sunday, hopefully not looking at QG theory, but perhaps a little bit more on the more happier side of things, at least as meteorologists like to say. It should mostly get up into the 70s by the time we get into your 6 p.m. hour here. With under mostly sunny skies. For your week ahead, should look really pleasant here with, again, the showers and the storms continuing on Saturday with the chance of perhaps the windier conditions, especially coming up tomorrow night into your Sunday. So you're going to have to watch out for that. Perhaps bring some loose items indoors as we could see that potential as well. Sunday, you see that sun bright high in the sky there on Sunday here. And then in your Monday and Tuesday should remain fairly pleasant with those mild conditions in the upper 70s to near 80s. So again, folks, we're starting to get closer to summertime. That means that we're going to see the chance of those at least those high temperatures as we come in throughout much, at least as we come to the next several months or so towards your summertime. But Josh, how are you kind of looking forward to that upper 70s to near 80 by next week?
Honestly, I'm really excited for it, mainly because of the fact that it's just been very cold these past few weeks and stuff. So I am really enjoying being able to go outside and not worrying about having to layer up, or even just at home get a bunch of blankets when and try and make a cocoon when I'm trying to go to bed.
So it sounds like you're a warm weather fan though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do love my cold weather, but after a while, I'm just over it.
That's fair. That's true. I know I like cold weather as well. Not too cold, but a little bit chill here now and there. At least kind of Florida cold, I should say,
yeah,
is kind of my optimal weather. Summertime just gets really hot and humid. I can't stand summertime very much here, but
yeah, I feel like I would say basically below 40 is a no-go for me. 40 is my limit when it comes to how cool it should get before I get really annoyed.
That's right, but also speaking of, at least in springtime, now we also have to deal with severe weather potentially too. So hopefully, again, if you have more information, you can go ahead and look for your local National Weather Service who can provide good information in terms of what you should do in the event of any kind of severe weather that might go on too.
Yeah, you always want to stay weather aware, but as always, just follow us stay weather aware at twitter.com/FSU weather.
Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU weather.
Watch us live on YouTube as you are right now at youtube.com/FSU weather.
That's right, and also send us perhaps some pictures to at FSU Weather to see, at least keep up with the latest on at FSU Weather.
Yes, as always, just make sure whether you're watching FSU Weather or any other station, stay weather aware because it could potentially save your life. But as you look across to the future, we will be mainly seeing rain across the eastern and western seaboard. So if you're going to be traveling up to, especially New York City, Boston, Charlotte, and also going even to Seattle, San Francisco, that rain is going to be there as we work our way into Saturday. It'll line up a little bit more throughout the weekend, but as you see, Sunday it'll eventually start to spread eastward for the west rain going into Salt Lake City. But on the eastern seaboard, it'll actually start to calm down, and we won't have to worry about that rain as those low pressure systems will move off the coast and far enough away from us. So I will just say make sure that if you're going to be going out on Saturday, just stay inside or make sure to have the umbrella. But we'll have nicer temperatures coming into the forecast, and with higher temperatures comes higher rain chances. This is Josh Millay, student meteorologist. Have a great night.